Hello, everyone. Welcome to our open talk. This is Anas from UserGuiding, and I'm waiting my friend John, who will be joining me. We will be talking together. John, say hi if you can hear me.
Yep, I can hear you, and my camera is coming on.
What's up, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
All is good. Yeah, I can see the green curtain in the background, but you're not using it, obviously.
Yeah. So I just want to be natural for this talk.
Yeah, long time no see, by the way. Hope you're doing well.
How are you doing, eh?
All is good. I'm trying to go to the office like a bit just to go out of home, but seems you're still stuck at home.
Yeah. Don't you notice like my cheeks are getting puffier? It's a bulking season, eh? Gaining weight.
Yeah, same here. Everyone, hello. Can you tell us where you're joining us from? Let's see how global we could reach with this open talk. I hope we made it internationally. UK.
I see some people from UK.
Manchester. Okay, we are starting with the UK. Netherlands. Lovely. So, John, today, as you know, we're going to talk about user onboarding and product adoption, mainly. And we have some subtitles that we said that we are going to start with. And basically, we tried to make this the two sides discussion just to make it a free kind of discussion. We're not going to make a presentation and tell people like this is the first thing, this is the second thing. We really want to brainstorm, and we kind of really meant not to so much collect or prepare for this talk because we wanted to brainstorm. And me and you are good at this, especially when we do it together. So we said like, let's push this live and let's do it live and let's people join us. And we would really be happy if the attendees can actually help us with telling their ideas, asking us questions, raise their hands if they want to talk with voice as well. That will be more than good. So I hope it's going to be fun and insightful, and we're going to do it more and more, I'm sure. So we have a lot of topics that prepared so we can do later, but we're going to start with the most important topic that we work on both, which is the user onboarding and the product adoption. You from a growth perspective. And John is also having his own episode, which is meeting a lot of growth leaders from different really brilliant businesses. And I'm sure he has a lot of insights to provide to us. And me also from a sales and business development perspective, because I'm talking to people and I know what they're looking for in terms of the user onboarding product adoption. The first thing that we will start with, or we will kick off with, is that I will push a poll to our attendees, to our guests, which will ask them about where they are in their user journey with user guiding. I hope everyone answers the question, because answering the question will help us feel that you are actually active with us. We don't want just, to be talking. John, we will start with talking about, we thought me and you would talk about the user acquisition, and for you that idea was pretty interesting. And you told me, I'm thinking about how we can relate the user acquisition in SaaS products to the user onboarding. And for a moment, I thought like, maybe there isn't that much connection between the both. But then when we talked, we found out that there is actually a lot of connection. So what do you have in that regards?
Yeah, actually, like there's a really strong connection between the two. I mean, I love to talk with SaaS people, so I'm a bit chatty. I like to talk. So I do talk with a lot of growth people in the SaaS industry. And then one thing that I've realized is that, when I say user acquisition, I see that everyone's eyes are just going like popping, or like, oh, I want to acquire more users. But when I say user onboarding, people are more like, yeah, it's good, but it's kind of boring. Yeah. But the thing is, actually, user onboarding carries the same importance as the user acquisition. The thing is, when you acquire a lot of customers and you can't onboard them properly and they don't get the best from your product, what's the point of having more users if you're not going to be able to keep them? Exactly. So yeah, that's my point. And from a growth perspective, actually, like if a customer stays in your product for a long time, it actually increases your lifetime value. Yeah. So this actually gives you, more space to play on the user acquisition side, because if my LTV is higher, then I have, more money that I can spend on the user acquisition side.
Definitely. That's a valid point. I was thinking also that actually when more businesses generally or growth leaders might be focused more on user acquisition, right? Because the more you get traffic, the more you drive users also to your application. That's at the end of the day, that's a good insight, right? Like you need more users, but the story doesn't stop here. Because like you're making some ad spends out there on the user acquisition, and there is a lot of promotions being done. So generally the marketing idea, even from like a psychological idea, you're trying to exposure the values that you're providing. So people can be encouraged enough to come and visit this to stand with, right? Before they actually try your product. So there would be, what I would like to say, like there might be kind of an error or a gap between the promoting that you're doing out there and what people are going to see in the product itself. So there's definitely going to be a kind of a gap, which is the impression gap. So since there's already a gap, your mission is to lessen this gap as much as possible to the zero, so you can meet what you've claimed out there in the campaigns and in the promotions and the ads. And that's where we actually try to position the user onboarding. Is like you promised people some value out there, and how about like you drive them to that value in the easiest way.
Yeah.
And driving them to that value will lead us to how you can then retain them and work on the product adoption. Especially, one of the most challenges of user acquisition currently with the SaaS business is that you have a fraud. The fraud is increasing out there. So like a lot of people are distorting this area with making big claims and promotions. But when you get there, you just see, it's just kind of tracking you or tricking you to make some financial commitments or something like that. So people psychologically now are more suspicious about any products in the market, right? Like they're entering and they're not trusting. They have kind of this suspicion. So you need to prove what you have, and to prove you need to have a good UX and a good user onboarding experience.
Yeah. Since we're talking about suspicion, I'm always suspicious if we're targeting the right people.
Exactly.
Marketing campaign. So I think there is one way to tell is that, so if you're sure that you have a really strong user onboarding and you're onboarding everyone and everybody understands the main value of your product, yet they still churn, for me this means that I'm not targeting the right person. Because if I provide you a strong user onboarding and then you understand what my product does for you and then you still don't want to use it, it actually means that I am not targeting the right users. So that's really good perspective for a growth guy like me. So that I can say to the team, hey guys, I think we're not getting the right people in because we're giving a good onboarding, yet they're still churning.
Yeah. So yeah, a good metaphor that came to my mind about this now, and I think I read it somewhere because I don't want to give the credits to myself. If I read it somewhere, I'm quoting, is like you have a boat, right? Which is your product and the boat. So you're bringing a lot of, like, let's say there's a hole in that boat. So instead of bringing more water to the boat, right? Just to you need to close that hole in the boat first. So actually studying your product well, and it's not only here, it actually goes in more details to some UX, the experience that you have, the value that you're actually promising to the people, not only the user onboarding, but let's suppose that you actually worked on all that and you have a product that it's worthy enough to be presented to people that they can get a value from. You need to close the gaps of training and delivering values to those users. And then you will have a funnel. So you need to make a funnel for users. You're making claims as we said at the beginning, and then people are visiting. So they trusted your claims enough to visit the application. And when they visit the application, they found the value. So you need to get them attached to this value now. It should be worthy enough for them and solves a problem they get attached to, and then they will visit more, which is the retention, and hopefully then they will convert. So this is how I think the ideal situation would be with working with the user acquisition and the user onboarding working together.
Yeah, and I think you were quoting me. I sent a metaphor to you from WhatsApp 2 days ago.
Yeah, Rodrigo is saying about the right people and churn. Why if the user is changing from an analog usage to digital? I'm not sure I got the question, Rodrigo.
Yeah.
What do you exactly mean here by moving from an analogic usage to digital? I got Pam's comments. I'm a customer education leader looking for best practice. Amazing. I think your input will be more than appreciated here to us. So yeah, this is about the user acquisition and the user onboarding. Let's give a quick, by the way, introduction to user onboarding, because I saw from the poll that I published that there is a really good percentage of our guests there curious to know about user onboarding. So I think, yeah, I think it would be good if we explain a bit what user onboarding is. Would you like to give us an idea, John, about that?
Yeah, maybe I should tell this story so it makes more sense. So imagine that you're an owner of a hotel and you have a really, really good looking, attractive looking hotel. You know, everyone wants to come in, the picture's looking awesome. So you're getting a lot of visitors. So there's no problem with acquiring new users. But the thing is, once your visitors come inside your hotel, they're dissatisfied. They're dissatisfied because there is no one welcoming them. There is a reception, but they cannot find where the reception is. So there's no service. There's no one helping them to check into their rooms. You know, they can't even check into their rooms. The hotel has a lot of good restaurants, but no one knows because there are no signs. So if you don't tell me where the restaurant is, how am I going to know about it? So take that story now and then change the hotel with your product. So maybe you have a really good product with tons of useful features. If you do not have a proper onboarding, how your users are going to know, what features you have, how to use your product in the most efficient way, right?
Yeah, exactly. I like the example. Actually, I was thinking, no matter how great and fancy that hotel is, if you don't have a good reception, if you can't tell me the process, like what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? Where's the signs? So I would most probably, and I think I would think that they might sleep on the ground, right?
This is not the only hotel we can stay in, and so I'm just going to leave, right?
Exactly. How about there is thousands of hotels out there that they can just turn their back and go somewhere else. So yeah, I think the metaphor is really nice, and this is what onboarding basically means. It's like the onboarding is you are having people coming to your product, and you might have the best product. You just did the homework and you did all the features, you solve the people problems, but they can't actually access smoothly the activation points to solve their problems. First of all, if you even help them manually with the setup, phase, how about if you want to retain them? Because we're always talking about the, fighting the churns and retaining the users. It's not about just closing the deals and, making sure that I tempted my users enough that they bought my product. I want to retain them. And in order to retain them, if you play this bad game, they will find out later. So
yeah, definitely. Questions. Oh, my eyes are so bad.
I sent a poll that asks our attendees about which department they work for, and it seems that we have 42% from the customer success. Pretty interesting, lovely. And then the product management. Basically, these are the areas that we are going to. I also noticed that always from my calls that we're working mostly, this is a product and customer success, and also marketing, because we're going to talk about how important having user onboarding for the in-app marketing part. So like when you have your product and you want also to increase the retentions or to achieve product adoption, you will need to work on the in-marketing app as well. Okay, I think we made a clear point about the user acquisition and the user onboarding, and is that if you want actually to increase the conversions from acquisitions to having loyal customers, you need to close this gap of what people are expecting outside and what they're expecting when they visit your product. So just smooth this bridge and make it easier for them by providing them a good onboarding experience. And by onboarding experience, we said that we mean it's the process of when users are visiting your product and you're leading them to the value that you promised them. And the onboarding strategies can differ. We have a lot of onboarding strategies, depends on what kind of SaaS product we're talking about. So you might start with a checklist, you might start with a wizard, you might start with, I don't know, some automated walkthroughs, you might start with hotspots, depends on what the user is trying to achieve and what kind of platform you have. Is it an independent platform? Like you have like a CRM would be more complex. So the kind of training you would have would be different from normal user onboarding. And John, I think it's important also to note that the user onboarding is not just the the tools or the third-party tools of user onboarding and digital adoption, the customer success and the sales team play an important role
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
onboarding.
So what happens is that, I see that a lot of sales teams are putting tons of effort to close the deal, right? So they would not let you go until you sign that deal. They will just come to, hey, buy my product, tons of effort. But what I see is that once you become a customer, all that effort is gone, right?
Yeah.
So they just say, all right, welcome, you're now our customer. So here's your login and all that, credentials. And then after that, it stops. So I think there's a gap here as well. Like if you're putting so much effort to put me in, I think that effort should continue throughout my journey as well.
Yeah, interesting. We have a question from Troy, is asking us, how does this apply to enterprise where the onboarding is indirectly tied to acquisition? What do you think, John?
How does it? I guess I would need some time to think about it, but if you have something just on us, you can take it.
Yeah, I'm thinking how it's more indirectly tied to acquisition in the enterprise. I'm trying to understand what exactly Troy means by that. Louis is also asking, when churning, how do you know if you're not targeting the right users or your product is not solving their actual need?
So I would say that, if I'm giving you a really, really good user onboarding and, I'm making sure that I'm showing you how to my product, and I know that you can get the best out of it. I provide you everything in terms of user onboarding. And then yet, if you're still churning, that you say maybe, oh, okay, you lack some of the features that I'm looking for. For me, this is like I'm targeting the right person, wrong person, right?
Yeah.
So this is how I differentiate it.
Yeah, I think exactly. And I think an important point here is to understand your user personas. So
Yeah.
what exactly you work on the segmentation. So what's the problems that you solve? And what's the personas that you're targeting? So for example, again, if you have a CRM, for example, you have a sales part and you have a marketing part. So you got to know what services you provide to marketing and what services you're providing to sales. Now, the customer interviews and the calls that you have will help you understand what people are trying to achieve with your product. With that, you will be sharing this feedback with your product team to start with, so they can know, are we actually developing the features that meet what our prospects or our customer personas are looking for? And then you need to check the analytics. So the analytics will be very important. Check the user sessions. What are they trying? Now, you segmented them. You broke down the segmentation into, for example, admins or marketing, sales, financial, whatever the service that you provide, and then check their sessions and meet them. In the sessions and the analytics, you will know where they are getting stuck at. Are they getting stuck at, for example, some activation points, or they're making the first and second and third step a part of 10 steps process, but when they get to the fifth step, they're dropping. So, you know what I mean? And then when you do that, you will be able to make a proper onboarding around those activation points more clearly, share the feedback. Maybe it's a UX problem again, right? So it's not probably about the highlighting or guiding the people. Maybe they're trying to achieve something, or they're expecting something in the future, but it's not explaining itself enough. So you need to circle back and check how the UX looks like, share the feedback with your team, check the analytics, do the customer interviews.
And I think it also helps, Anas. I think it also helps that, if you do a discovery call before someone actually sign up, to understand what success means for them, I think that would really help you to understand your target persona as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's an interesting question here. I see they're asking, how important is keeping up the design trends when creating an onboarding experience? What do you think, John? How important would be the design part, the design trends when you're creating
design part? I mean, for me, it's pretty important. So I'll give you an example. Like, design is so important for me. Like, I'll give you an example from my daily life. For example, if I'm going for shopping and I'm looking for a cookie, right?
Yeah.
I go to groceries and I'm looking for a cookie. The first thing that catches my eye is how good the design looks, how good the packaging looks. If it's remarkable, I will notice it. I will take it. I'll give it a try. And if the taste is good as well, I'll continue to be a customer. But the first thing that gets my attention is how good the design of the packaging looks. So I think design, following the design trend is quite important on onboarding as well.
Totally agree. But John, I'm trying to remember once that we had this discussion, me and you, when we talked about too much customization in SaaS products or in no-code tools in specific. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? Like too much customization in terms of the design, too much customization in terms of the the segmentation, the automation. Is that actually a benefit? Now, the first thing that comes to our minds might be, of course, always more customization is something better. That's what people look for. But what's your thoughts on this? I mean, I remember we had this discussion before.
Yeah, for Marcos, I want to say, yeah, like first impression needs to be really a wow. And I remember like getting this cookie, and the first impression of the packaging for me was like really wow. So it's really important. Anas, for your question, I think it depends. If you're a no-code tool, I'm not talking about no-code development platforms like Bubble.
Yeah.
If you're a no-code tool and if you give too much customization, I think you might be confusing your customers. So if you're aiming to be a user-friendly tool, I think your only goal should be to make your platform as user-friendly as possible, rather than just tweaking with the customization options. If you give too much customization, I think you might direct your users from their end goal. That's my opinion. And I do have my own podcast, and I do talk with a lot of no-code SaaS entrepreneurs. And most of them say the same thing as well. We tried to give customization option. Too much of it causes confusion on the customer side.
Yeah. So I think we need to clarify something here. When we talk about the too much customization, and what the first thing comes to our mind, it's always good. We're not talking that the more you can customize things, that can be a bad thing. Of course, it's a good thing that having the ability to customize things, but it depends on, like, for example, let's talk about like user onboarding tools. And that's what we notice, at least from our experience. This might be a debatable topic, but when our clients are trying to achieve something, they want to build some, onboarding experience that match their branding identity, their visual identity of their platform, and they want it to be customizable to one level. But there is two sides of the equation here. There is the deeper customization. There's how easy it is to do these customizations, because at the end of the day, it's not like you are designing the product itself from the beginning, right? Yeah. The game lies here when you're looking for third-party tools, is you need something to save you time, right? Like, this is the whole game. So if you're going to give me, like, I'm going to enter to a product and I will see like the settings panel, then I will see a lot of options and a lot of slides and a lot of like settings. Maybe you think that it's good, but I don't need all that. And if you actually think this will help me, how about doing it in a way that I can easily, edit it and deal with it? Yeah. And that's why you see sometimes some tools that are having less capacity of some bigger tools, but at the same time, they solve the job faster. Yeah. And they are bundling and packaging those customization in ready templates. This is also the same concept goes for coding. That's the idea of having libraries. Like, the more you are having libraries, the more you can, don't code on the, assembly, perspective or level, at least. Yeah. So the same ideas goes for the design as well.
I mean, for me, like, if I'm using a no-code tool to save time and become more efficient, when I see a lot of customization options, I'm just talking about my personal opinion. When I see a lot of customizations, I get confused, because like, I'm like, oh, should I choose this one or this one or this one or this one? So my output is delayed here. It's just, for me, I'm this kind of a guy, right? I'm just going to be like, oh, I wonder, maybe this one is going to look better. Maybe this one is going to look better. And then at the end of the day, maybe I could have done this in like 45 minutes, but now I do it in 90 minutes because I'm stuck with the customization. That's what I was saying. Like, maybe too much of it can actually slow your customers down.
Yeah. Maybe that also would reflect on the long run more, when you see that it's actually not easy to deal with. Even if it's achieving, you will seek for something easier to use. I see Troy's explained his question. I don't want to skip that. When your user never went through the sales process. Okay, I got it. So he's talking about the enterprise. You're not actually working with the same, concept of having user acquisition for some other platform, because you already are dealing with the prospects or the customers. You know who they are, but it's all about onboarding. So I would simply directly say it doesn't need to relate. The onboarding should exist in all cases. The onboarding process should be present in all cases. right? That means we don't have the cap of user acquisition, fortunately, in this case, because users already are trusted your value. That's on the enterprise level. That will be, you know, discussed from a different perspective. But user onboarding is definitely needed in all, and we have actually in user guiding also a lot of companies who are really huge companies in enterprises and still using user onboarding, along with the automated and the you know, personalized, I mean the manual training as well. And this is, I think, Alvaro is asking
Yeah,
this
I would
question.
love to read that as well.
Yeah, he's asking, what is your take on onboarding customer automatically versus having a human guiding? They should be aligned. They should be aligned. What do you think, John?
I think it's awesome if you can do like one-on-one onboarding, but it's not scalable.
Exactly.
If you have a couple of customers, you can do that in the first phases of your startup, maybe. But once you get bigger, how are you going to onboard like 1,000 customers one by one? Unless you have like $1 billion marketing budget or like a budget for this job, it would be okay. I think that there's one company doing this, like one-on-one onboarding, a big company. I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's scalable, and I don't think it's something sustainable.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is probably also what would lead us to a topic which is more like a product-led growth topic, where you have this ideal perpetual motion, that you have an engine with a motor that is going to be eternally move. In physics, I think this is the right metaphor for it. In the SaaS products, that you give it the first, you know, push, and then it's going to just generate leads and close deals by itself. This is the ideal situation, which I believe it's very hard to achieve. But as John mentioned, I think we still need to have both of them. We're not claiming, and we never claim, by the way, that the user onboarding or like user guiding, all digital adoption platforms will just take the whole burden from your success and sales team because users are being onboarded and trained and we're living in a perfect world. That's never going to happen, but it's going to help you a lot. Save you time, at least by repeating the answers that they can deliver directly on the app, and also convincing people with the value that you're proposing to them, and all these kind of things. So that's how we see it, Alvaro.
Right, tons of questions.
Long questions that I'm trying to read.
See, my eyes are really bad. Like I have to zoom in to see everything.
After the official, let me push a poll while John, you are reading some questions. Are you currently using any of user onboarding tool? No, we have 69% not using an onboarding tool, 31 of them using onboarding tool. I'm curious to know the 69%, those who answer that they are not using onboarding tool. Can you tell us how you're handling the onboarding thing? I'm really curious to know. Like, are you doing it manually currently, or how you're doing that? Or you have some in-source, something built in-source? I'll send another poll, which is the onboarding strategy. Do you consider that you have an onboarding strategy? So what, John, have your eyes catched any question?
Yes, there's again, like interesting question from Alvaro. What is your opinion about educating customers while onboarding them? In your opinion, does educating customers defocuses from the onboarding experience?
Interesting question.
Yeah, interesting question. I think it's always a good idea to, you know, this is the thing, we as a user guiding, like we want to be known as a brand who, you know, who's trying to educate people, not like trying to sell something. So for us, it would be good because we love to educate people. And in my opinion, you know, if you educate your customers throughout the onboarding journey, it's going to benefit them. And maybe it's going to help them to reach aha moment faster, right? Maybe they have some problem that they're not aware yet, but if you're educating them on, especially for like on your product user onboarding, maybe they're going to be like, okay, so I have this problem, so they solved my problem.
Yeah.
What do you think, Anas? I think it's a good thing to educate your users.
See, yeah, I agree to some extent, but I think we need to also to clarify a point here is, if we're talking about educating users during the user onboarding, I'm afraid that in some implementations of that idea, you will cause a friction in the user onboarding experience. Because why? Imagine you're entering to a platform, right? And you already kind of expecting what you're waiting from that platform, right? If it's a language teaching, you know that you will learn language, or if it's a CRM, you're expecting some processes, or financial services, you were going to be probably creating some quotes and invoices and all these kind of things. But that means the education or the proposed values, I should understand that before I enter to the application. When I'm entering to the application, I'm expecting a smooth experience to see what I'm expecting. So imposing some educational material, especially in an unsmooth way, might cause a friction and might be spammy. And this is what I'm afraid of. That's what I see in some products. Like you enter and they pop up something and they tell us, welcome to our platform. We do this and this and this and that. I already know what you do. I checked your website and I already know what you do. So you don't need to tell me. And then I click next and there's another web pop up. Like our products helped a lot of people. Like, are you doing marketing now when I'm in the product? You think this is the right place to do that? I don't like that personally. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how does that look to other people, but I don't like that. I like to take action when I'm on the product to see if this will help me or not, or I will just go and find somewhere else. So there should be kind of a balance between the two things.
Yeah, definitely. It might distract them from onboarding, but I would support to send like a couple of emails to send them educative links. Maybe it's because like they came to, our platform to solve one problem, but maybe just because we're educating them, they were like, aha, now I can solve my other problem with the same platform as well.
Yeah, that's more of what we call it contextual onboarding. It's like you found out that they're trying to do something and now you promote something related to that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be more like a contextual onboarding. It's like I'm understanding my user behavior, but I'm not like imposing a lot of ideas, bombarding them with a lot of ideas that they might not be interested in. But an important point here is about also product adoption. Educating users will be more important in the product adoption phase. So we generally say that there's a user onboarding phase, which is helping people set up their accounts and get the value, the aha moments. Then there's the product adoption, where they actually feel like relax and chill, that I will stick with your product for a long term. Let's not say like for forever, which doesn't happen, but let's say for 1 year, something to commit to your product, feel that we can actually solve that. And then they will forgive you, by the way. When a customer gives you the credibility that they will stick with, they will forgive you for the small mistakes that they might find later. And that's why your value should be big enough at the beginning that they can stuck with. Now, later on, John, this product adoption is a pretty interesting topic. You need to keep educating users about the new features that you have, that you release. So you can automate some tours or put some hotspots. Here, the education player roles. Like, we release this new feature. Check it. It does this and this and that. You need more support. Connect to our success team. It's also a part of the product adoption. So I see this more of a product adoption topic, to be honest. Yeah. I see you like moving your eyes between the questions.
Yeah, as I said, I have a very poor sight. Just saying.
How much time to view any videos during onboarding? What do you think, John, about using videos with the onboarding? Hans is asking. Like, he says,
Yeah,
I don't use more than 5 seconds in the onboarding when we have videos.
I mean, in our experience, I think sweet spot is between 7 to 11 seconds. So it's always better to catch the attention there by giving a good hook. No one really watches long videos. We noticed that with the marketing team as well. We do a lot of experiments with the videos, but sweet spot is like 7 to 11 seconds. If you grab their attention in those time frames, you're good. If not, it's not going to happen.
I would prefer, especially in the user onboarding, I would prefer GIFs. And I saw a lot of our clients are using GIFs inside the onboarding, and I see it pretty cool because it directly shows me what the things they want to show me, and it plays automatically. And I don't need to, play it and wait just like for 1 or 2 minutes to finish it. So GIFs with the simple text description, or for more details, a hyperlink to an article. I think that would be better than having a video. Maybe the video would play a good role at the beginning as an introduction, or but using long videos along the onboarding, not sure is the best practice.
Yeah, and I think video should be remarkable. It should really stand out, right? There's this saying, like, you're either remarkable or invisible. So if it's just the normal video, it's never going to get attention.
Definitely. Okay. We handle the onboarding of new users coming. There are a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm going through the comments now as well.
Okay, let me answer this. Even for a beta version of startup, do you recommend to use? John, Anil is asking, even for a beta version of a SaaS startup, do you recommend to use user guiding? If yes, how can it help us trying to turn the visitor to the user?
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea since, from the day one, because what we're trying to do is that you're trying to use user onboarding to show, how your product is going to benefit end users. So it would be a good idea to start from day one, just like they say, start selling from day one, start onboarding from day one, I would say.
Yeah, actually, I'm getting this a lot in our calls. We have a lot of prospects. They are asking, we want to launch a product and we want to have a proper onboarding with that. Because again, we are driving traffic, especially, I think it's more important, by the way, when you have a new product or we have a new launch or even in the beta version, because that's where you are actually trying to prove yourself in the market, to put your foot in the market, right? So like entering with a very, very, very strong ground with a proper user onboarding, of course, it's so important. Maybe it's more important than later when people hear more about your product and it has its own testimonials and it has its own credibility. So before the launch, I'm sharing the results of if you consider that clear user onboarding, and we have like 32% said yes, 32% said no, and 36, pretty interesting, said not sure. So the same for yes and no, and 36 for not sure.
Yeah. Oh, just one thing that I want to add about the videos though, like the question about using videos as an onboarding, onboarding tool. But they're not interactive. That's the thing, there's no interaction there. I think that's the one downside of having a video for onboarding.
Yeah. So let's circle back to our topic and maybe we can get back to the question later. How about that? Because we prepared some things. We talked about we were willing to talk about the impression of the importance of the impression of the first moments, John.
Yeah.
And yeah, we said that the average attention span of people now is less than any time before. And that this is something you can just measure by thinking about how you do it yourself when you're visiting a new product. How many seconds you would give it as a chance before you.
Yeah. I think first impression, like giving that wow, is super, super important, because, if you don't impress on the first time, the chances are slim that, that customer is going to stay with you for a longer time. And this happens, like if you really wow me on my first visit, then like any flaws I would come across throughout the journey, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, because you wowed me in my initial experience and I will have a positive bias against your product. Right. Yeah. But if you like, if you don't wow me in my initial usage, then I will already have negative feelings towards the product. And if I see a small flaw, I'm just going to make a big deal out of it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, by the way, like when you're even visiting a product, you're kind of having the psychological perspective of trying to find some gaps in it, especially if you're working in business, because, you're always like trying to iterate what's going on. So you need a good experience and you need the aha moment, the wow. By the wow, you mean, John, do you think it's the same when we say the aha moment? Because we generally talk about the aha moment, which is the first step that you need to do in order to deliver value. So think about the biggest value they can provide within your platform, where you can build your activation points and onboarding on, and you deliver the aha moments that they can stick with us and aha, like this is something I want to do more. This is where the wow comes, or you think the wow comes actually when they first land?
For me, wow comes when I first land. For me, like wow and aha are two different things. Wow is just like when I get my credentials and then log into the platform for the first time, everything looks so perfect. Everything is on point and I'm just wowed without even using it. It's just everything looks so good. They have proper onboarding, design looks so good. They welcome me well, and I'm just wowed. I didn't reach the aha moment yet. The aha moment for me comes later on.
Yeah. Just came to my mind a very good example of the wow and the aha moments together is what Duolingo is doing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they did really great job with the onboarding and how there are a lot of language teaching applications out there, right? But why Duolingo, you think, is like working like a magnet for hundreds of thousands of people? because I just opened the website. I want to share my screen actually, and just, go there and see how does that look like. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so I guess everyone can see
Yeah. I just
which is cool. So when you land on Duolingo website, if you scroll down, see, they started with the onboarding. It's pretty impressive. So it's Duolingo, so it's learn languages for free, forever. Pretty much it, right? Want more details, scroll down and check what they are doing in their website. But get started, and this is pretty also nice that they don't even ask you for creating an account. I mean, they literally burnt all the levels. So you just go there and say, I want to learn, for example, French. I actually want to learn French, which I can't do for some reason. And then you choose, why are you learning this language? This is an onboarding, right? They're playing with you the wizard game. They're trying to know to segmentate, in other terms, who you are and what you're trying to do. Now think with the same mentality for your product, what they're trying to achieve. I'm going to say, like, for example, I'm just, job opportunities. I'm going to say continue. So they ask you how much time you can allocate for that a day. So they can also build their plans according to that. I'm going to say like 10 days, and then I'm going to continue. So then what else to help us if you're doing the marketing things? I would say not now. Choose your path, continuing the segmentating things, seeing where you are locating, where you want to start with. I'm going to say, I'm learning French from the beginning. And then they start with an exercise. Like, simple as that. They're not going to tell you, like, these are the letters, and you need to set your account first and invite your friends, and then I've got verifications from somewhere. They're putting you into action, like you will find yourself inside the game. And this is what we generally try to let other products, help them do or train them do. It's like, later on, the users will know about your product, but get them into action. Let them stick. Let them feel that there is a value they want to see again. So I'm going to choose who's the cat.
Le chat.
This. And then when you do some exercises, at the end of this exercise, they will ask you to create an account where you are already impressed. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to create an account, I think there's also an option that you can continue later. What do you think, John, about
I think that they allow you to see the value first and then ask you to, create an account, right? Because they want to test out if you get the real value. So I think the chances are higher that you're going to become their customer, if you see the value first and then you still decide to, go on with the account creating process, then it's like you're a high intent visitor, right? You're going to stick with them because you've seen the value they provide and then you liked it and you wanted to create an account. I think that's a good way of differentiating between a high intent and low intent visitor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And also I see a question from Muhtar. What are your thoughts on asking for credit card details for a free trial versus no credit card required for a free trial during onboarding? That's a good question. I would say, like, for me, like, if you ask credit card details, if I'm going to give you my credit card details, the only way I'm doing that is that if I have a high intention to use your product, if it's something that impressed me already, and I just want to test it out for myself. So I think if you ask for a credit card, you might have a decrease in the signups. Some people will just say, no, I'm not going to go for it. But the quality of the signups are going to increase, in my opinion. As I said, like, the only way I'm going to give you my credit card is that if I really want to use your product. So you will get this kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thought. What do you think, Anas?
I agree. Totally agree. I'm checking Tricia questions. She's asking, if you're unsure how to onboard your users, does UserGuiding offer help with setting up the onboarding process? Yes, we do help with setting up the onboarding process, either within our sales cycle or also when we can connect you with our success team, where you can take consultancy about the onboarding. What we're going to do basically is we're going to check your dashboard, we're going to check your platform, and trying to make an approach for what's the most proper onboarding strategy would fit in that style of platform, according to our experiences with our successful clients and what we see also outside. And we would say that in our opinion, in our experience, the most proper scenario would be like this. For example, start with something automated, or just try to rely on checklists, or try to utilize segmentation deeper. So it's a matter of checking, evaluating, and then helping you with what's the approaches. And then you can create the experience smoothly with user guiding as well. Alvaro says that I have thousands of questions. Well, I hope we had the time to answer thousands of questions, or the knowledge.
Yeah, also feel free to reach out from the LinkedIn as well if we didn't answer.
Definitely.
You know, we would be happy to answer.
So we answered Mukhtar questions, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you checked JTeep question? I'm sorry if I pronounced the name wrong.
How do you
perform user adoption for an app store? What strategies would you apply as the owner of the app store, but you don't want to own app? This is we need to talk about this in more details.
Yeah. I'll be honest, like I don't want to give misleading information.
I need to understand more actually what's the app store, who's the targeted with this onboarding. Are they the sellers, the buyers, the the people who are checking the products, and in which phase this app store is, and all these other details. So we'll be more than happy to catch up later.
Yeah, just let's connect on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Human contact.
Okay, then since we're not hearing more questions, how about you participate with us in the new poll that's coming? Is like, what would be great for you to increase 100% in your product? Is it the retention rates, the adoption rates, or reducing the churns? What do you think matters for you more in the product metrics?
I see a quick question, like how Marcos is asking, how important is the human contact in onboarding compared to automatic bots and tour? I think this question is related to, giving personalized onboarding, that one-on-one onboarding, right?
Yeah.
Like, as I say, it's good for personalization. Everyone loves personalization, right? We love to feel, special. So best way of doing that goes through the personalization, but it's not scalable. I mean, I will say the same thing again.
Exactly. I mean, the segmentation topic is very huge. Like John, we always talk about the importance of segmentation to drive more experience, because when you create one experience that fits everyone, or you think that fits everyone, it's not gonna play. It's the role that you're waiting it to play, because people are trying to achieve different things. So understanding their behaviors is very crucial. And in user guiding, we have the segmentation option where we allow you to create the attributes, and from the attributes, assign those guides or those walkthroughs to trigger themselves, or to trigger, with custom triggers according to those behaviors, or to the time, or to the date, or the types of users. And we always push through that. And very interesting is that when we check the health scores of our clients, we see that the most successful clients that we have, they have the more segmentation. And which proves our claims, is like, you don't create an experience that fits everyone unless you have very clear value and everyone is trying to achieve the same thing. Otherwise, work gradually on developing your segmentation with the language, for example. Like it's a very common use case. The language, the types of users. Seems you want to say something, John?
Yeah, no, I've just seen a question from Noel, but I'll answer that right after you.
Yeah, I just finished. I just said that the most common use cases of segmentation from our clients is the types of users. When you have like the admins, the normal users, the golden users, and those people have access to certain parts of your platform. So it doesn't make sense that you trigger the same announcements for everyone at this case. Also the language. Even though we push towards more than that, it's like go beyond that and study the behavior. See what they are trying to achieve and what's the journey that they are mapping, and then iterate your onboarding experience according to that.
Yeah. So, question from Noel: if you could give one piece of advice to a startup company about onboarding or user guide, what would it be? In regards to growth, I would say, like, before even you spend penny to a marketing, I would like save that money for marketing budget. And then use that on getting to know your power users, right? If you can do it post-corona, just invite them to your office. Make sure that you get the most out of them. Understand them first, and then use your marketing budget to target those kind of people. So know your target persona. That's the one thing I would say to you. I mean, I would love to do like after postgrad, I would love to invite our power users to our office, so we understand them, we become friends with them, we become partners with them, we understand everything about them. So then we can build a better target persona, and then we can go out to marketing with this target person with more accurate strategy.
Yeah.
So then if you do that, growth marketing is actually growth marketing. It's not a guess marketing. So if you follow that, you're not going to be guessing. You actually have the data, and then you're going to focus on the specific people.
Totally. I'm just watching the results of the last poll. Is what would you like to increase 100%? And I see that the adoption rates, and pretty interesting. The 46% for increasing adoption rates. And I would say like 3 things for increasing the adoption rates, which I believe are the most important. Is like for increasing your adoption rates, you want to keep users trusting your product, right? To be loyal to your product. And the first thing that you need to do, again, is the proper onboarding. So you need to have a proper onboarding. So that means they get the value, they know what the value before they stick with you. The second thing that I would say is that you need to utilize the in-app marketing. So you need to utilize the in-app marketing. Remember, John, once we had also this talk, is like sometimes you start the project. It's like you're looking for a project for a product that solves a problem, and you enter with the cycle. You're meeting all the company's members, then bring you the sales, the success, the CEO, and everyone just wants, because they want you, right? They want to grab you. But then when you close the deal and when you pay, you just land and you feel like now you're in the desert. You start to hearing this night sounds. It's like, where is everybody? Right? I started to be like, what's going on here? I still need help.
Yeah.
I'm still new here, guys, right? So it's so important to utilize in-app marketing to keep engaging with your users. Invite them to webinars, push announcements and notifications about product updates. Let them know what's coming on your roadmap. Let them know if there is a technical error that they might face, so they feel that you actually care about them. And then the third thing with that would be use the good capacity of your customer and success team. Because the customer and success team will play a huge role in the product adoption rates. They will keep checking your clients' accounts, see what they're not trying to do, and again, use the in-app marketing. So you're kind of having this integrated strategy of in-app marketing automated, you have the customer success team is doing the job, and you have a proper user onboarding at the time.
Also, like I would like to add, it's going to be like a really simple, like make your product really easy to use. That's going to increase the product adoption, in my opinion. If it's really easy to use, it will be easier to adapt to that product.
Yeah. I'm checking Richard comments saying, did I hear correctly? You saying that this program is not good for one user training? Kind of confused. Our intent is for user guiding is to be primary training method. I mean, I think you mentioned something about the one-to-one jump, but I think
I meant as like onboarding as just giving like a one-on-one onboarding to every new customer you have.
Yeah,
it's not related to user guiding. Imagine that you're having a new customer, and then you do the onboarding with someone with someone like your users are getting welcomed by your employees, so you would have to have a lot of employees to onboard everyone. That's what I meant.
Yeah, but it's definitely one of the use cases of user guiding is that to onboard employees or onboard individuals, right, within the companies for staff members, for example, by automating their processes as well, which is something possible. So yeah, I think there is a misunderstanding here.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that also in more detail, Richard. Yeah, I think we don't have questions unanswered for now. I wanted also to talk about the Canva experience, which is also pretty smooth, which starts with segmenting the users or segmenting what you're trying to do, and then trying to show you what you're, they're suggesting some templates, and they're trying to make it also more contextual. So if you're creating some presentations, they will show you more templates of presentations. So you're always like tracking some attributes of what users are trying to achieve, and you're showing them something relevant. Yeah, Mukhtar, the Slack onboarding. We also discussed that.
Yeah.
they actually did it like really something else with the onboarding. The Slack was this like the chat bot things that always pops up and gives you some suggestions. For example, if you're sharing some drive, this is contextual onboarding. This is actually how almost ideal onboarding will look like. It's like you're doing something and it's giving you how you can do these things better, or educating you in a proper way. So it's like if you're sharing a drive file, would you like to present it? Would you like to allow them to edit it? With the integrations, they have amazing integrations with other products as well. So definitely Slack is a remarkable user experience example. Also, we played something, John, remember, we in user guiding, which is the gamification of the user onboarding. So this is something we tested ourselves in our platform. Is like when you sign up to user guiding, either as a free trial or if you convert, you will have a checklist that we guide you through. This checklist, we tell you like, you need to install the Chrome extension, and then you create your first guide and then go live with that first guide. And this is where we hit our first aha moment. So it's like when you create a guide smoothly and you go live with it, so you show it to your users. So you see, like, I like that, I want to have more of that. And then we thought of that, and the credits to our product team, I don't want to give credits to ourselves, but they thought about that. How about when we check that there are some features are neglected by a lot of our users, which is the segmentation again, or using the custom triggers options, or you building a help center, something like that. So we decided to make that a part of the onboarding as well by creating a second checklist and make it like a game. So at the end of the day, you don't need to put all the tasks at once for your users because they might get distracted. But with the gamified version of it, it looks smoother. So they finish the first one, we reward them, we say congratulations. It's like now you're with the upper level. It's like you're playing a game. And then we're telling them create a segment, create a checklist. I don't know, I don't remember what the other is, but utilizing the other features that we have within our platform as well. So it's your mission to think how you can make that smooth and easy. And it's actually helped us a lot, as you saw, John. Like it helped us a lot with achieving more metrics and checklist creations and all these sort of things as well.
Do we have time for Canva?
For the Canva? I mean, we can finish with that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen again. So here I opened Canva, and let's say we want to create a new account in Canva. So I would say just sign up with an email. And I would say, I don't know anything, forgive us, Canva for creating a fake account. Right, and then I would say something like this and .com, and then I would say a password. Let's see how their experience will look like. So I'm landing, this is a design tool, so I'm expecting to design some things, right? So they don't leave me alone directly in the desert. They ask me what you will be using Canva for. Because imagine if they didn't ask me this question, or they don't have onboarding, I will not know where to start from. You know, design, it's like an ocean. And then I would say, I have a small business. And then they would ask me, add your team members. This is a smart move to add your team members also to, I think I need to name, or to name my team here actually. If you choose some other choices, they would ask you, if you choose a teacher, they would ask you to add your student's name or something like that, or the other teachers in the organization. Okay, I would say, and then I would say continue. So we're still in the onboarding, you see, and I'm not gonna try it now, try Canva Pro for free. I'm just gonna skip, maybe later. Here they are going to ask me who is our team. I'm gonna skip that as well. So they are trying to set you up. Welcome to Anas, which is my team's name. And I'm gonna say, let's go. See, they're starting now with the tooltips, like telling you, here's like your workspace, go there, and then you click next and you can proceed with the experience. So they kind of customized now the workspace according to what you are trying to achieve. In other situations, if you choose something else, they would start with the templates. Simple as that, like you're trying to show the right thing at the right time for your users. If you want help, then you will go to the help center and ask for the support from their team. Yeah, that's just, I wanted to show super quickly how that looks like in Canva as well.
There's also one thing from, excuse me if I'm pronouncing the name in a wrong way, Sirimati. How do you handle onboarding of new users who come in after the official onboarding? Okay, so it's like someone in your organization, let's say bought user guiding, and then you came in after that person, and you want to know, how you can be onboarded, how you can get adapted to user guiding. Is that what you're asking?
I don't actually, I'm not sure if what she means by the official onboarding, because onboarding is something continuous. There is no.
I didn't get it completely as well, but if you're more clear, I would be happy to help you out.
And I think that we are running out of time, so we will be happy to catch up later, Srimathi, and have a further discussions on that if you have some questions in your mind. What do you think, John? I think we should, finish.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I felt that there is actually a lot of things we didn't talk about.
Interaction, and we can always, continue this conversation from, social media. If you guys have I'm more of a growth guy, so if you guys have any questions related to growth, just send me a message from LinkedIn. I'll be happy to help all of you out. Same for my buddy Anas as well.
Same here. Any questions about user onboarding, product adoption, just as a consultancy, you'll be more than happy to answer. We'll be sharing the recording with you, and there will be a very, very small feedback, I promise, survey after the webinar. We appreciate if you can answer that. And I think me and John, we will be doing that more often. There's a lot of topics to talk about. So we hope to see you there again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Mukhtar. Thank you, Alvaro, for the thousands of questions. And Ahmed, Levent, Hannes, everyone. And hope to see you again.
Yeah, let's just put the links for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Help us.
Have you dropped it?
Right. I'm just going to drop my LinkedIn.
All right. Here is mine too.
Well, thank you all for coming in.
Thank you all for coming in, and we hope to see you again in other events. Thank you, John, buddy. Hope to see you also again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, everyone.